dying by inches every night. What a glamorous life, brought on by winches to recite. What a glamorous life. Ordinary mothers never get the flowers, and ordinary mothers never know the joys. Ordinary mothers couldn't cough for hours maintaining their poise. Sandwiches only, but she eats what she wants when she wants. Sometimes it's lonely, but she meets many handsome gallants. Ordinary mothers don't live out of cases, but ordinary mothers don't go different places, which ordinary mothers can't do. Being mothers all day, minds away in a play, and she's realer than they.
The Glamorous Life, a song by Stephen Sondheim from A Little Night Music, actually written for the film version of A Little Night Music that's been interpolated into several of the stage versions. The Glamorous Life, what we all as theater artists could call a theme song. I know life has been a little less than glamorous for us lately, but we're going to bring some of that glamour back today with my three wonderful guests. I'm David Edwards, and this is Beyond the Green Room, our 12th installment of Beyond the Green Room. Can't believe it. So to talk about their glamorous lives, I have three wonderful guests today. The first gentleman is the managing director of Island City Stage in Wilton Manors, Florida. Please welcome Martin Childers.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Marty. With that elegant, very theatrical background, very appropriate. I do my Don Quixotes behind me, but you have the glamorous life happening right there in your living room.
Oh yeah, all about glamour here.
Okay, let's bring our second guest on. This is an actor who has appeared on Broadway and all across the country. He also has an interesting sideline theater profession, which we will discuss. Some of the most famous animals that you see on Broadway stages work with this young gentleman, and I've had the pleasure of working with him on numerous occasions. Please welcome Brian Michael Hoffman.
Hi, everybody. Hi, David.
Hello.
Hey.
You're my one non-Florida guest today, but you're in Illinois.
I'm in Illinois, and I love Florida. I have lots of great friends in Florida, so it's all family.
I do too. So you're gonna have two more by the end of today's broadcast.
I love it.
My final guest is a young lady who I've known for several decades, and I haven't seen for several decades. And she sang that song, that Stephen Sondheim song, years ago in a production we did together. I wish I had her recording of it, but unfortunately that was from the Royal National Theatre production. So let's please bring on this wonderful actress who has done everything from musicals to Shakespeare to Shaw. She's an award-winning actress in Florida and has been all over the country and the world, I would think. And she hasn't changed a day since last I saw her. Please welcome Margery Lowe.
David, hello. Oh my, well, first of all, I love that you referred to me as young lady. So you get points for that. That's a good way to start. And I got a little verklempt hearing that song.
I thought you might. I wish we had your version of it, but I have every cast recording of every production that ever existed, and I thought maybe our collector mavens out there might like to know that was from the Royal National production with Judi Dench.
Oh.
And it's been long out of print. So I know the collectors out there are saying, where the heck did you get it? Well, I probably bought it the first day it came out and paid too much for it, but that's another story. What we do when we start the conversation every week, we play a little game, which has become known as 1 Degree of David Edwards. And I ask each one of you how we met, how we know each other first. And my recollection is not always the same as yours, but I think in these 3 cases, it will be. So, Marty, we know each other the least amount of time, and that's the easiest question to answer. So why don't you go first?
I, as I said, I'm the managing director for Island City Stage, and we were doing a new show by Michael Leeds, and it was called Star Maker, and it was about the agent for stars like Rock Hudson and Tab Hunter, and we needed someone to play that character. And it's Wilson. What's his first name, David?
Henry Wilson. Yeah.
Henry Wilson. Yes. And it was a great show for us, and we just happened to get David to come in and play the show. So I met him once he arrived. I mean, Andy was the one who had any really kind of chats with him or just kind of get to know him. And once he arrived, though, because we were taking care of his housing and things of that nature, so I got a little bit more involved. And then, kind of because I was a little more involved, got to know David, and it was a good thing.
We had a great time. You picked me up at the airport, and
that is right. I forgot about that.
And I, you know, as always, when you go to a new theater, you never know what to expect. But you guys were so welcoming, and you took care of everything. You got me to the gym. You made sure all of my creature comforts were taken care of. I think you picked me up in a monsoon one day to move me to a new housing when
we moved you across the street, if I remember correctly, over to Jim and Joe's. so yeah, you had actually some great hosts during that period of time. And
yes, we did. And for those of you who don't know Island City Stage, they do some fabulous work there. We'll get Marty to talk a little bit more about specifics, but it was a great experience. And we will show some footage that we found from Star Maker a little bit.
Oh, cool.
Okay, Brian, it's your turn. How did we meet?
Well, first of all, I want to circle back and say I saw that production of Night Music at the Royal National with Judi Dench.
And literally, you were going to say that you saw the one that Margery and
I wish I had. But no, I literally was watching Judy, like I know her. I was watching Dame Judy's Send in the Clowns yesterday. We were just talking about that production, and to this day, that performance is one of the most breathtaking performances I've ever seen on stage. Oh, incredible.
Well, I love Judi Dench, and she is magnificent in that. I'm a little bit prejudiced because as an adolescent, I saw Glynis Johns, and no one
of course,
Johns for me.
Of course. But circling back to you and how we met, another breathtaking performance. We met, you were doing Jacques Brel is Alive and Well at Syracuse Stage in 1990 something or other. And I was a junior in the Syracuse University Drama Department, and Bob Moss, who had just taken over as artistic director for Syracuse Stage, brought in students from the drama department to understudy the 5 incredible performers that were brought in from New York to understudy you. And I was Joe Neal's understudy in Jacques Brel. And there were 5 students, 5 performers, and you welcomed all of us into the room and let us like peek behind the curtain and watch your process. And that was incredible. That show doesn't get done nearly as enough as it should. And your performance was incredible. And then we got to work together a few years ago on stage together, doing Man of La Mancha at Ivoryton. I always
forget that I was actually on stage in that one too.
Yeah.
But you know, I have to tell you that production, when you did that, you guys, so often when we work LORT theater, I know one of the equity requirements is that we're supposed to have understudies. And not every theater rehearses them properly. And I had an incident once where we were all sick with a horrible stomach flu, and we had understudies, but we found out none of them had ever even seen the show. Mine was off at Clown College.
Oh no! No.
And we went on even though we were very ill. And one of the things I will say about that production that we did together at Syracuse Stage is that you guys were so well rehearsed, and they did an incredible thing in that on our night off, they presented our show with the understudies and invited us and all of their families, and it was pristine. It was beautiful. It was every value that we tried to bring to it, with young people who were considerably less experienced and a lot younger than we were, doing everything. And it was so heartwarming and inspiring. And Gabe Barry was on our first show here of Beyond the Green Room. He was one of our first guests, and he directed that show. He had a long history of working with Jacques Brel. So that was a wonderful thing. Yeah,
that was great.
Came in the room to audition for La Mancha. You were absolutely our first choice for.
Oh, thank you,
David.
Thank you.
Okay, Margery, spill the beans.
Oh my God. It feels like it was yesterday, but also like 100 years ago, right? Well, David, you're my dad.
Yeah.
You're my daddy.
So you were like 13 then, right?
Exactly. It was I had just gotten my equity card from Joey Patton at the Paris Dinner Theater. Remember Joey? And he used to direct with the dog.
Ben in the bag.
Yes. So he had just given me my equity card. And David, that was my first full equity contract doing night music with you, playing a 13-year-old, being 5'2", you get to play I played all the Minnie Fays and the Frederikas and all those roles when I was doing that. And I have great memories of it. And you were wonderful. You were amazing.
Well, as I was telling you before in the kind of the offstage green room discussion, that it's a role I've played several times since. Yeah. And it was great to get to do it. I was a little bit, I dare say, young for it then, but cast it young, the director. And what's interesting is that I had originally got in for Carl Magnus, and he said, I think we have a local person here in St. Louis who's going to do it. Would you be interested in Frederick? And I was, would I? But I thought he won't cast me because I'm too young. But the interesting thing is I found out that's exactly how Len Cariou got cast. He went in to read for Carl Magnus, and Hal Prince said, so he's one of my heroes. And I thought, well, if it's good enough for Len Cariou, it's good enough for me. And I got to do it. I did it at the Ordway some years back, and where else? Pennsylvania Stage Company. It's one of my favorite roles. So
gorgeous piece. I mean, any Sondheim, right? But
you were, because you sing so beautifully, they added that song from the film, and it's been now interpolated into many stage productions. It's
such a great. I mean, like all Sondheim, it's such a great actable. Those lyrics. And for that role in particular, you not only get an insight into Frederica, but you also get a lot of story about the relationship with her mother and who Desiree is. It's amazing. It's a great piece. So
there's always more to find in that show. And I think what I like so much about it is that it's like comedy at times, and you can make people laugh, and gorgeous music, but underneath it there's so much meat, and it's usually with a light comedy you don't get that much substance, and so you can kind of do it all. And
absolutely, I maintain that. Is it Carlotta? Charlotte. I think that's one of the greatest roles in music theater.
Well, you should do that now. You would be wonderful in that role.
Love it. I would love it. Yeah. Great piece. And there was a company here that in Miami that was just getting ready to open, like so many that week, and they shut down. But and they had to shut down like all of us. But it doesn't. It's a timeless piece.
Well, in to use Mr. Sondheim's other title, I'm Still Here. We're all still here, and we will still be here. I was going to do a Sondheim show. It was one of the three. One was a La Mancha. One was the Sondheim putting it together, and another one is a play that I hope will happen. I'll be back in Florida, but a little different from you guys where your area is.
Other coast.
So, Margery, have you ever worked at Island City Stage?
I haven't. Andy and I are great friends. I adore him. And I think we've met, Marty, but no, I've never worked there. There were a couple things that Andy wanted to bring me in for, and I had conflicts. When I first moved here, I didn't know what to expect in South Florida. My husband, who was an actor and a director, switched jobs completely. And that's how we ended up down here. And I was like, where are we going and what are we doing? But there's you wouldn't believe how much wonderful union theater there is here. Incredible work. So the wonderful thing is, you get to be super busy. There's work all the way, even within our little section, all the way up to Jupiter and down to Miami. And but I hope to. I really do. It's a great theater. It's a great, as you know, a great intimate space. So you really get to connect with the audience in that one.
Yeah, intimate is so. Marty, how are you guys? You're opening up again, correct? I mean,
well, yes, we're opening at the end of this month. Opening with a show called Dixie's Happy Hour. It's a one-person show. Early on, we did a couple surveys with our audience to try and get how they feel, because we were like, we could open up, but if they're not ready to come back, we've got to, we need to know what their feelings are. So their message to us in our last survey was 65% of them were either no way they're not coming back until there's a vaccine, or they just don't know yet. And I count that as a no for right now.
Yeah.
So we had 35% willing to come back. So we looked at that and said, here's what we're going to have to do. If we want to go forward, we're going to have to do video content, and we'll do live in-house productions as well, so that those who feel comfortable and trust all the measures that are being taken, they can come see the show. And those who don't, you can see it on video. Now, when I say on video, we're using a company named Stream Ally to host it, so that they can buy a ticket, watch the show during a certain period of time. But the main thing is, everybody's doing video content, but we wanted to make sure that it wasn't, okay, we're all sitting behind our little, our Zoom and camera and doing a show. We're going to actually do the show. We're going to film it. It's going to cost us anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000 to film, and we're going to do that for every production until things get back to some sort of normalcy. So they can come see the show, or they can watch it at home. So that's how we're moving forward. And our friends next door, I call them kind of our housemate at Wilton Theater Factory. Ronnie Larson just opened a production last night. Most he can sell is 20 seats, and he sells those 20 seats.
Well,
so
did you are you doing these non-union, or did you make an agreement with Equity? Because here in New York, we're still stymied.
Equity, I have to be real careful what I say. Equity has made it impossible for us to use Equity actors right now, and we had to change the lineup of our season, and also look for shows that we would be able to present this way, because there were so many hoops for us to jump through, or even just closed doors that we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So, and we have to, regardless of what their decisions are, we have to move forward, because we, our first person that we got to be concerned about is our patrons. And so safety first, and second, how do we get it to them with the things that they want to see? And so we found that this is the best option. And
well, there is a theater in our neck of the woods, up in Connecticut. My friend Kevin Connors is the artistic director of Music Theater of Connecticut, and they are about the size of Island City Stage, although it's configured differently. And they've been allowed by Equity to do a one-person show like you are doing, where they also live stream it. So we're moving forward. I have to say that as Equity members, we all want to work, and unfortunately, the big shock right now is that our requirements to get our health insurance, they've raised them for more weeks. And then all of us have no weeks to claim right now. So it's kind of scary. It's a great unknown, but I think we've hit a period where when we were first in shock and in despair, now we're at a period where we must find a way forward. And I think everybody's going to work together to do that. It's going to be a little different level in different places. Florida is going to be different than New York. And, but I think I'm hoping that we're going to see some progress on that front soon. So,
and there are now slowly, you're starting to see some negotiations, like you were saying, David, that are being made. There's I have a friend who's the artistic director at North Carolina Stage, and they're doing something similar to what Marty was talking about, where they're live streaming. It's a one-person show. We're going to see lots of one-person shows, or married couples, or things like that. But they're live streaming it as they're performing it. And he's had a lot of success with that. And that was negotiated through Equity. And then there's another girlfriend who at Portland Stage now is going to be doing with her husband, Tally's Follies. And they negotiated that they can have 50 people in their house, spread out. And they're the only ones, the actors are the only ones that are allowed to take masks off and so forth. So I'm hoping that Equity is going to start getting as creative as the theaters have had to get, and get those weeks in. That's the biggest thing.
Mm-hmm.
So Brian, you are in Illinois. How did that happen?
Well, I live in New York City. My apartment is still there and rent is being paid, but I'm in central Illinois right now. I was in the middle of kind of two productions of The Wizard of Oz the week that Broadway closed down. I was in Maryland, and I had the week off, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I went back up to New York because we were hearing whispers of what was happening. And I thought, I'll just go, I've got 4 days. I'll go home to New York and, get some stuff out of the apartment. And the Wednesday of that week, Thursday was the day that Broadway went dark. Wednesday, I got the call saying, don't come back to Maryland. And Thursday, Broadway went dark. And Friday, I got the call that the other Wizard of Oz was canceled. So I did drive back down to Maryland because I left everything in my housing and in my dressing room. So I had to drive back down to Maryland. And it was a very weird feeling leaving New York City in that moment, even though I was just going to get like my clothes out of the apartment and stuff out of the dressing room. And at that point, we didn't know what was really happening. But my boyfriend is a musical director, and he was working at Little Theater on the Square, which is in Sullivan, Illinois, about 40 minutes from where I am right now. His show was closing that Sunday. And at that point, the magic number was 250. You can have 250 people in the building and it's fine. So I think Little Theater capped their audience, their ticket sales under 250, so that the number of people in the building was still under 250. They were allowed to finish their run, which closed on Sunday. I think that was the 16th. And at that point, we didn't know what was happening in New York, but a friend of Andy's mom and dad said, who I'd met for like 47 minutes in New York last fall for a drink. She was in New York seeing shows. We met for a drink because Andy's mom was like, this is my best friend, Kath. Come have a drink with her. So I did. Thank God I went to that drink. They had all been talking. Kath, whose home I'm now sitting in, had said to Andy's mom and dad, listen, if Brian needs to not be in New York City right now, if he needs to quarantine for 2 weeks and get out of there, if you're okay, if I move into your guest bedroom, he can have my house. Well, the generosity is mind blowing. So I left New York on March 23rd. I arrived here on March 25th. I did 2 weeks here in this house by myself with 2 Totos, of course, in quarantine. Knock on wood, everyone's fine. At the end of those 2 weeks, Kath, who is a professor at the local university, is single, said, you know what? Brian and Andy haven't had much time together because I've been in New York, he's been in Illinois. Why doesn't Andy move into the house? And that's how it's been since March, 2 weeks after my quarantine. Andy's moved in here with me. She's still at, we call it big house, little house. And the 5 of us are our bubble. And I have been gifted, truly gifted, this beautiful house with a backyard, fenced-in backyard for the dogs. And there's a grocery store 2 minutes away that we can walk through and like walk by the parking lot in the morning and see if it's busy. Do we go shopping today? Do we not? There's a hospital where of course, we know the local epidemiologist. So we've got her on, speed dial. But I'm in Central Illinois for this moment. Well, and kind of having a bougie COVID lifestyle, good. Making so sourdough.
You're making the lemonade out of the lemon.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You started to hint. I would like our audience to hear a little bit about, you were doing 2 productions of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
And even though we know you as a wonderful actor,
yeah,
you were probably not an actor in these productions.
Well, a lot of times I will do Cowardly Lion. I'll do double duty of Lion, but I'm affectionately self-called a dog boy. I worked with Bill Berloni, who trained the original Sandy for Annie as it was being written at the Goodspeed Opera House in 1976. He was a 19-year-old apprentice and overnight became an internationally renowned theatrical dog trainer with Sandy, which led to Toto, which led to Bruiser Woods in Legally Blonde. And, we've had dogs in the Royal Family and Nana for Peter Pan Live, Toto for The Wiz Live on NBC, Sesame Street. Just about anytime you see an animal on stage, it's a William Berloni theatrical animals pup. We do a lot of film, television. Sandy, obviously, for the new movie that came out, the Annie movie in 2014. I worked on that. So that's my side hustle. Every actor has a side gig, has a side hustle. And I was on a national tour of Annie just after the 20th anniversary production on Broadway, just in the cast. I was just in the cast. Mr. Bundles, Harold Ickes, Bert Healy, Drake, all those great ensemble male parts, and had nothing to do with the dogs whatsoever. But on a national tour, Sandy and Sandy's understudy don't travel on that Nonek bus and truck. They're not on the school. They're not on the bus. They have a private van. The gentleman that Bill had hired to drive Sandy and Sandy's understudy around the country wasn't always making it to the next city in time. So I, kind of selfishly wanting to get off that tour bus, I said, I'd love to help you drive. If you want to sleep off whatever's going on, I will get you safely to the next venue, which I love driving. I love animals. And suddenly on a tour, I had a car in every city. So I could go to the movies. Remember when we can go to the movies? Remember when we could go places? But then it was a different time. I had a car to go to Disneyland or the Grand Canyon or the post office or the mall or whatever. Little by little, he would ask, this is not Bill, but this is the handler that he had hired, asked if I wanted the dogs to sleep over in my hotel room. So suddenly Mr. Bundles has Sandy sleeping in his hotel room. Should never happen, but Bill okayed it. Little by little, I was doing everything but handling the dogs and, training the kids, Annie, what to do. The tour was in Canada at one point. I had Buster and Lola, who are our Sandys. My phone rang at 5 o'clock in the morning. It was the company manager who said, you have Buster, right? And I was like, yeah, what do you want? It's 5 o'clock. He said, we can't find Patrick. We're scheduled to be on Good Morning Toronto in 45 minutes. Can you come do this interview? And as I think your audience will see, I would talk to a Coke bottle at this point. I said, yes, I will go. I'll talk about my experience of traveling on a tour with kids and dogs. I went, I did the interview. Lola was sitting on my lap. Buster was on my side. company manager called Bill and said, we're paying the wrong person. We could probably figure out a way for Brian to do both, to have his actor track and to handle the dogs and be 24/7 care of the animals. So at the end of that tour contract, I went and I worked with Bill. He has a beautiful farm up in Connecticut, and I trained with him. And I've been working with Bill. December will be 20 years.
Wow.
I know you can't believe that probably, but
Well,
December will be 20 years that he's been my side gig.
I did get a note from our technical director, stage manager, producer. Just be a little careful. Your
yes,
is
you got it.
Hot maybe it's your collar or whatever. The other 3 Coke bottles here want to make sure that. But no, that's
Brian. You have my dream job. That is my dream job.
You say that, but I do pick up a lot of poop.
I'm there. I'm there.
But it's unconditional love. It is unconditional love. And so, David, I was actually in the middle of 2 Wizard of Oz's at the time with Nigel and Nessa, who are here with me. Nigel's asleep on the floor. And one was a high school production in Maryland. And the other was like a theater after school program up in New Rochelle. So during those 4 days that I was back in New York, I went up to New Rochelle Monday, Tuesday to start rehearsing that New Rochelle. And I had rehearsal Monday, Tuesday. I was off Wednesday. And Wednesday was the day that New Rochelle kind of blew up as that first hot zone. Closest to New York. And I was like, well, beep. I was there. I was right there. But that production got paused at the moment, and it's gone. And obviously I didn't. The Maryland production closed as well.
We're not sure in what form and how quickly, but we will go back. But what I want to emphasize, especially to anybody who is a young person out there looking for a career in the theater, is that your industriousness and being at the right place at the right time and being
absolutely
to what you did was offer someone a solution.
Absolutely.
And that's how you create your work.
Yeah.
And
just say yes. Say yes, because you just don't know where it will lead.
Well, Margery, you bounced all over the country before you settled. I have to tell you, I've done a lot of work in South Florida, and I know there's a lot of wonderful work there. Besides, you had nothing to fear. With your resume, certainly, and with what you have to offer. I mean, we've talked about how you played Frederica, a 13-year-old, when you were a little bit older than that. But really, looking at the work that you've done in the last couple of decades, you've played the great divas and classical theater. Some of the opportunities you get to do in your community, we don't get in New York because we're pigeonholed into one thing or another. And that's
absolutely
had so many award nominations, and you won one for a picnic, Carbonell for Picnic, in a role that I've heard you say you would not normally have thought you'd be cast in.
Oh, you've been doing your research, David. Good for you.
Oh, honey.
To be honest, we're all actors. And when I teach, so many people are born with a gift of a voice, which is a wonderful thing, and you have to train it. But I always felt, even as a kid, and I'm sure you did too, that the stories are told through your acting. So even when I was doing musicals, that was the bottom line, as it should be. You can hear if someone can sing in a couple measures, but you want to stay with them if they tell the story. So we all want to cross all the genres, and no one should be pigeonholed. Unfortunately, in New York, you do kind of get into boxes. Yep. And even now, we're doing all this Zoom stuff, and for film work, they keep telling you, find out what your brand is, which of course is, you do have to know what your type is. But at the same time, I always back away just a hair, because I don't want to be typed. I don't want to be put in that box, even now. So, yeah, I've always tried to, when I feel like it's getting too tight, I will consciously step away and say, okay, I'm going to take a break from only doing dramas and I'm going to focus on doing comedies now or whatever. So then eventually I was lucky enough to build up enough of a resume and networking where now I can kind of cross over and but you know, for your young actors, if you want to do that, you really kind of have to be a little conscious of, okay, now I want to really focus on this and I'm going to go into this until you can kind of incorporate it all. But yeah, I've been so lucky. I'm so blessed to, that's my first love, to be honest, is classical theater. I just have always loved it. And to have had the opportunity to do Shakespeare and Shaw and Ibsen, and it's always going to be my first love. Yeah, so it's been great here, and it's been a while.
I understand because I felt like I started to work because I could sing, and as much as I feel passionate about musical theater, I didn't want to be pigeonholed like that, and it took me many years to get a resume where I could say I could take all the musicals off and have a substantial resume now, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this wonderful role at Island City Stage. For those of you who saw the new miniseries called Hollywood, Henry Wilson is depicted in that series a little bit differently than we saw him in our production, Marty. Michael Leeds, I think got more to the truth of how his behavior was, and we've found some footage of it. So if you will indulge us, we have some footage put together that I think Michael had done in the theater of the Star Maker.
Great.
So I'm very proud of it. I hope people at Island City Stage are proud of it. So let's.
It was a great show for us. It was great.
Well, we didn't play to an empty seat. I don't think, and it was a great role and a wonderful play. I hope it has some life after this. Maybe someone who is seeing this broadcast will be intrigued enough to want to see the script. So
I hope so.
Tony's going to run this little clip, and we'll get back to that.
I made Rock Hudson. I took a young, unformed hunk of clay. All right, there was a lot to work with. And turned it into a legend. But then, that's what I do. My job, my art. Some men create paintings, some compose music, some write novels. Henry Wilson, he makes stars. But you want to be in pictures?
Yes, sir.
You like origami?
It's okay. I prefer steak.
Origami, it's Japanese. Oru to fold kami paper. It's an art, making something out of nothing. I'll represent you. That's why you're here, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Good. I'll have my secretary draw up the papers. Phyllis, draw up the usual agreement for... what's your name again?
Roy Fitzgerald.
We'll change it. Hudnut. Rock Hudnut. Hudfee. Hudson. Hudson. I like it. Strong, yet it flows like the river. Rock Hudson.
Mr. Wilson, do I really have to change my
If
name?
we're going to work together, you're going to have to trust me. It's not just opening a play out there. The reviews were practically lovely.
Congratulations, what play was it?
Way of the World, Congreve's latest.
I think we have an option on that one.
Al Morton over at MGM saw it immediately, wanted to sign him, but you know MGM.
We get lost in the shuffle.
Exactly.
I've got to run. Good luck to you, Mr. Hudson. Henry.
Congratulations.
For what?
You've just been signed to a 6-month contract at Universal. Is that the first time you've had champagne?
Yes, sir.
Call me Henry. You know, we're not just agent and client, Rock. I like to think of myself as a friend to all my boys. Whatever they need, I'm there for them. And I expect them to be there for me. You know, I had this same conversation with Rory Calhoun. He was sitting right where you are now. I had just gotten him his first picture.
Something for the boys.
Right.
I'm a big fan.
So Rory was sitting there, and he seemed a bit reluctant at first to take part in the conversation like you. But he was ambitious like you. And eventually we had a talk. Man to man. I'll give it to Jack. He really did love rock. But just because you love someone doesn't mean you're good for them. So, my boy was starring in, as they say, a major motion picture. The bone never did heal right. He was in pain for years, but he was a star for life. The industry gossip about his sexuality was already starting. This was the McCarthy era. Sex was out. God was April 3rd, 1985. Rock Hudson died. Suddenly, AIDS was on everybody's tongue, if not in their bloodstream. AIDS benefits were in. Government funding was allocated for research, all because one man caught a virus.
Wow.
I didn't. That was a little long, but I didn't realize until now how appropriate that was. Maybe because one man has caught a virus here, we might have some sweeping change. Not to get too political, but yeah, that was a bit choppy, but you kind of get the idea. Jim Parsons played that role in this Hollywood thing, and quite differently than
And great Clay Cartman was your,
yes, who is as you are a big star in the South Florida theater, and so I was honored to have share the stage with him. He was Rock Hudson. And yes, we had a wonderful supporting cast, a beautiful set that had all the logos from all the films that Rock Hudson was in, and it was a great experience. You know, Marty, I never asked you this. You, I know you were with Jenny Wiley Theater for 13 years, but
Yes.
you were in the business world before you went into the theater. What was your journey? How did you get to this place?
I'll tell you really quick. I sang a lot, so I had been asked by a friend to help her get ready for an audition with Jenny Wiley Theater, and so back in those days they would allow the public to watch the auditions. Crazy.
Huh.
So I went and I saw it and thought, God, if they hire any of these people, I know I've got a chance. And that's terrible. It sounds arrogant, but get over it. It was arrogant. But I did it the next year. The next year I auditioned. And so I got involved in theater while I was working as a finance manager at a car dealership. And so I did theater for the next 6 or 7 years. And I would always pick, if they hired me, I would choose one show a summer, because it was rotating rep. Most everybody did all the shows, but because I was local and I had another job, I would do one show a summer. And then I got on the board in that period of time, and so started working in the fundraising part of it. And so then I moved to Lexington, Kentucky to take another finance job, and they called me a year or so later and said, "Do you want to come back and run a theater?" So that's how I got involved. And so Margery, you know, and everybody knows Margery here in the area because of her acting. I know her because she's a giver at Island City Stage. She has supported us, and so I remember names of people who have supported us, and I appreciate that, because that's been my focus during this period of time, is making sure that we have funds to do what we do. And so I pay attention to all the people who are saying, I'm in your corner. And but of course, I know Marjorie from other things, but that's what I always remember. It's like, that's one of my peeps. So,
See, that's
Well,
why you're good at what you do.
well, this is what we need. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on the show, because we have a lot of actors and directors and even writers and a couple of casting directors, but nobody in your position, who deals with the producing, getting the money, getting the show on. And without you, where would we all be? So
and can I take a second to say something really important for us? Here in Florida, we had several people that supported us, and when this all came about, our fund, which is kind of for the LGBT community, they were going to give us a grant, and they just said, you're getting $10,000, use it however you wish, we want you to survive. The same thing from a group called Funding Arts Broward, and they fund so many different arts groups here in South Florida. They said, here's your money, we want you to survive, we know you can't produce right now.
Wow.
Then the state, as far as their granting, and the county's grants, they said, we want you to survive. So how great is that we had those organizations that said, this is important, and we know that this is going to be a terribly difficult time. Let's just say, we want you to survive. We know you can't produce right now. Here's this money until we can get you back on your feet.
Ooh.
And it's only going to get more important as we go forward.
Yeah.
That support.
Yeah.
So that was amazing for us, and it's been amazing for some of the other organizations here in South Florida that they have continued to support in this way. And our donors, our individual donors, have been amazing.
Well, we always want to hear good news, especially on this platform right now. And, it's in New York, because it affects the tourism industry and the restaurant industry. I mean, we forget that more people actually attend the Broadway theater than go to all of the sports games or the sports organizations in the New York area, and that's an immense amount of money that we're losing here. But but we're doing okay. We really are, and but as Dolly Levi said, money is like manure; it does no good
unless you spread it around.
And Marjorie, it brings me. I mean, it was kind of a rough segue, but I know you did that show many times.
I have,
and one of them was directed by a friend of mine who is one of the legends in musical theater and one of the most entertaining people I know, Leroy Reams.
Isn't he? He's the best.
And he and you did it with Madeline Kahn playing.
I did, and I have to. It is a good segue, David, because we were talking about again for your students, acting and singing, and that production, she was the perfect example of someone who was an actress in that role first above anything. She was magical and brilliant and hilarious, and and she has that incredible voice, but she approached that as if it was the matchmaker first before bringing the music to it, and that was her entrance, her process to make it her own. She was incredible.
Well, that's great to hear. And was Leroy fun to work with?
No, he's so serious. Leroy, Leroy. He never tells a story. You can't get him to open up. He's
he would try to make me late every time for an entrance. And we did. I was lucky enough to be performing Max Bialystock when he was doing Roger Debris sometimes, and because I was the cover for Max Bialystock, and one night when I wasn't doing Max, we were standing behind the flat waiting to go on for the Keep It Gay scene, and he turned to me and he said, "Why aren't you my understudy?" And I said, "I am, Leroy."
Yep, that's
He
Leroy.
just- and I don't think while he was with the show I ever got a chance to go on, but
Oh, I could see you doing that role. But you know,
Mhm.
speaking of Dolly, do you know that Leroy played Dolly?
I know with my friend Lou Stadlin playing opposite him at the Wick,
Yep,
and
at the
Lou,
Wick.
Lou went out with the national tour opposite Carolee Carmelo last year.
Mm.
Too. And,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, he's a riot. Leroy is so much fun. Another
Yeah,
one
I'm
like
trying to get him on here. I think I would have to have Leroy all by himself.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's no way.
and he will fill all the boxes.
All the
four of
boxes,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
We
Well,
did
you know-
Annie together years ago at Sacramento.
When
He was-
we were doing the producers, he said to me, "We should do Gypsy together." And I said,
Oh.
"What would we do in Gypsy?" He says, "Well, I'm going to play Mama Rose, and you can
Right.
play one of the strippers."
Oh,
And I would buy a ticket for that. I would
yeah,
definitely
except I'm not really quite sure whether that is what the writers intended. You know how I am about that. Brian and I did a production of La Mancha.
La Mancha.
I something like 12th or 13th, but it was the first time I directed it as well as being in it.
Yeah.
What is it? 2-3 years ago?
It was 4 years ago. 4 years
years.
ago. It was 16, fall of 16.
Yeah, I was kind of doing a heavy lift there, and I always forget that I was actually on the stage.
You were there, yeah.
And Brian was our wonderful Sancho, and he got award nominations for that.
He did.
We all did. We all lost.
Yeah.
We all did.
It's an honor to be nominated, right? Yeah, that was a rather therapeutic production for me. On the third day of rehearsals, I don't know if you remember, my grandmother, who lived in Florida, so there's the Florida, my grandmother passed away on the third day of rehearsals, Alzheimer's, dementia issues. So to be doing La Mancha and have to be there to support Quixote through his whole journey of memory and, was such a challenge for me, but I felt so safe in that company, and having you there, whether you know it or not, was so comforting to me, because I really could have gone farther down the rabbit hole of taking care of David Pitzinger, who was our Quixote, through that production, and just you being there kind of helped me stay in check a little bit. Wow. As far as how much of my personal life I could bring and couldn't bring. But that was a tough show for me. It was a dream role, but it was tough to be doing that show in that moment for me.
Well, I know David was very determined to have you as his Sancho. So we were blessed to keep you. I think you know that at that very same theater 2 years prior, I was doing La Cage when my father passed away. Yeah. And I couldn't leave because the show was about to open. And so that's what we do.
And we find ways to let the arts heal us. Yeah. Whether we knew it or not, I was supposed to be there. Yeah. I was supposed to live in this world where I had to take care of someone with failing memory. That was how I dealt with the passing of my Bubba, of my grandmother. Arts heal, whether we know it or not. And that production will always be very, very special to me for the role, for the production, and for what it meant to me in a healing capacity. And I don't know that I've ever said thank you for that, David, but thank you for that. Thank you for that.
We loved you. I should be thanking you for a wonderful portrayal. Oof. When you do a show so many times, sometimes there's always, I want to do it again because I just discovered this. I almost did this year. But that was such a hand wringer for me because I was literally doing triple duty. Mm-hmm. That I said, I don't have to do that show anymore. It's the first time I got to that point in my career. I think I'll feel differently when the pandemic is behind.
Oh yeah, let me add it.
Opportunity, but you know what? And that's the other thing is that show will mean so much more to audiences when
absolutely absolutely
live again. We take things for granted. We never we never imagined. And we were looking at Star Maker. We were talking about another plague at the end of that play, and I had forgotten that was such a large part of that play. And what Island City Stage does for the LGBT community in the whole South Florida area, finding material that is particularly pertinent, to look out into that audience every night and to see faces of people who lived through that era and knowing exactly what that was all about. It was especially moving. That was another gift for me. When you perform a play for the right audience, you know, when I was in college and we did directing courses, we were told that it wasn't enough to do the play. You'd just be hired to do there had to be a reason why this play for this audience at this time was pertinent. And sometimes we don't know it until we're halfway through the run. But
yeah, and to do a little commercial for Island City too, the reason why it will always keep going and it has lasted this long is because they know their audience. And to give that audience a voice. And that's, when you're going to Island City, that you are going to hear that voice in particular. And it's so important, to really to zone in, especially in that area. It's a perfect setting. They do amazing work there. They really do.
Well, it sounds like you'll have a job there sometime.
Well, there you go. Hire that girl.
It seems to me you work all the time, and there should be no issue with that. We're actually coming up towards our intermission, and I'm going to use to introduce our quiz question. I'm going back to that role, Rosemary, that you played in Picnic. I'm using that as a segue, just like I used Hello, Dolly, and Dolly Levi's remark about, or Ephraim's remark about manure. Not that they're related to your portrayal. Apparently, you don't win a Carbonell for putting manure up on the stage. But there was, this is the quiz question. I'm about to formulate it. There was a musical, a Broadway musical that was adapted out of Picnic.
Oh.
It was a huge flop, and it never made it into New York. It closed in Boston. What was the name of that Broadway musical? That's the quiz question. And now, if nobody gets it, you guys have the opportunity to answer the question. But while you think about it, we're going to take our little our little bathroom break, or a refresher for your Bloody Mary,
and no Googling, right?
No Googling. Thank you. Tony says that
cheating.
every week. He says you should tell the audience no Googling, and I don't do it. But so it's for those of you who don't know this too, it's National Vodka Day. So if you need support Bloody Mary for the rest of the show,
I'll be right back.
go ahead and do it. But for our intermission feature, we're going to listen to Mr. Brian Michael Hoffman singing a song that he did in the off-Broadway production of which I think is a very touching song right now. You may not want to leave your screen. You may just want to listen, but you can just turn the volume up and replenish your glass because it's an audio. So this is Alone in the Universe, sung by Brian Michael Hoffman from the original off-Broadway recording of Seussical. And we'll be back to answer the question.
I've been guarding this clover for over a week, getting laughed at for thinking a dust speck can speak. Well, let them all laugh, and I'll try not to mind, for I have found something that they'll never find. There are secrets on a leaf, in the water, in the air, hidden planets, tiny worlds, all invisible. Not a person seems to know, not a person seems to care. There's no one who believes a thing I say. Well, I'm fairly certain at one time or other, great thinkers all feel this way. I'm alone in the universe, so alone in the universe. I found magic, but they won't see it. They all call me a lunatic. Okay, call me a lunatic. If I stand on my own, so be it. 'Cause I have wings, yes, I can fly around the moon and far beyond the sky. And one day soon, I know there you'll be. One small voice in the universe, one true friend in the universe, who believes in me. I'm alone in the universe, so alone in the universe. My own planets and stars are glowing. Alone in the universe. No one notices anything. Not one person is listening. They don't have any way of knowing. Nobody knows that I have wings. Yes, I can fly around the moon and far beyond the sky. Well, someday soon you will hear my plea. One small voice in the universe, one true friend in the universe. Please believe in me. Hello? 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 Who's there?
It's me, Jojo, the mayor's son.
I'm Horton the elephant.
Are you real, or are you a very large think?
Oh, I'm real, all right. I would state that in ink.
In my thinks, I imagine a lot of strange things, and I go to strange places as if I had wings. I love a good think.
Well, for me, that goes double.
Sometimes my thinks are what get me in trouble.
When you think, do you dream?
In bright colors.
Oh, me too! And I go to strange places like Sala Saloo.
When you think, do you think you could fly to the stars?
Oh, little friend, no one else could have things such as ours! Yes, I have wings. I have wings. I can fly. I can fly around the moon and far beyond the sky. You called my name and you set me free. One small voice in the universe.
One true friend in the universe. Who believes in me? Good night, Jojo. Good night, Horton. See you in Sala Saloo.
Well, nothing like a little Flaherty and Aaron's show tune sung by a talented actor to bring a lump to your throat
Love
during
it.
this atmosphere. Thank you for that.
My pleasure.
rendition.
My pleasure.
You've had a lot of experience working with Flaherty and Aaron's music.
Yeah, I love them. I love them. Their work, them as people, they're great. They're really wonderful.
Well, I did a little show off-Broadway many years ago, which Steve Flaherty was the substitute pianist before. That's how long I've been around. Well, I think maybe next time we're going to have to get Marty to sing, because now that I found out that you started in your journey into the theater singing, Anyway, before I embarrass you, first
And hit it.
question. Because I get so wrapped up in talking to the panel, then I forget that we asked a quiz question. And I did find out. Do you guys have any idea what the answer is?
I know this one.
All right.
Wow.
First of all, that our star audience member who has, I think, got 99% of the quiz questions right, got this one right too. Our fan and friend DG Brandemore. But Brian, what was your answer?
Hot September.
That's it. That's
Hot September.
Yeah, and
Lost in Boston.
Yes, Lost in Boston. In fact, there is a cast recording of sorts, and it's a rather strange phenomenon because it was made sort of in rehearsals with only piano. There's no orchestra, but the Boston cast made a full recording of this score.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it exists somewhere. It exists in David Edwards' collection, obviously.
Of course.
But and two of the songs were covered by rather famous singers. Marilyn May recorded "Show Me Where the Good Times Are."
Oh, of course.
And none other than Frank Sinatra recorded a song called "Golden Moment." So the score lives on. "Show Me Where the Good Times Are" showed up in another flop musical written by the same writers about 5 years later, but that's another story. So so that's your bit of trivia, and thank you, DG, for another correct answer. I don't know, I think we're gonna have to get DG on the show sometime and explain how she knows all these answers.
I love your definition of these musicals as another flop musical.
Well, you know, nowadays we think of any show that hasn't run 10 years as a flop musical, but there used to be a lot of shows that ran just half a season, made their money back, and had a cast recording and were done in summer stock, and now we don't even hear about them. But it's a different world right now. I think when we come out of this current time period, Broadway is going to look a lot different, and maybe shows that have a value that don't have to necessarily be blockbusters, but get back to what the essence of live theater is about, will be very welcome into the pantheon. I mean, not that we still don't want the blockbusters, but and the jukebox shows, but won't it be nice?
Yeah, but I think Heart will be a lot more necessary. I've been working on a production for about 10 years now, a musical adaptation of Because of Winn-Dixie, the Kate DiCamillo book, with Duncan Sheik writing the music. Nell Benjamin has written the book and the lyrics, and John Rando's directing, and we've done Alabama Shakes, Delaware Theater Company. It was at Arkansas Rep. Last summer we were at Good Speed.
With Bobby Spencer.
J. Robert Spencer. Yes, I love Bobby Spencer. Yeah, and that show, we're really hoping, like we were hoping to move into New York earlier, obviously, when Broadway was a thing. But it's a small cast, and the show is about hope. It's about connection. No one in this town, in this musical, really talks to their neighbors. They all have these preconceived notions of who they are and what they think and what they do. And truly, because of Winn-Dixie, because of this dog, the community comes together in a really beautiful, special way. And if this can, like, I think this would be perfect for the world right now. Talking to your neighbors, accepting each other for your differences, and coming together as a community. It's such a beautiful story. Small cast, low production, low weekly, so fingers crossed. But it'd be great.
Can you throw a gay character in just for us?
What?
A gay character in just for us, so we could do that.
there's some questionable moments. Sure, not real. No, I could talk to people. I'll make a call.
Well,
we don't know. Maybe Winn-Dixie is sexually ambiguous. The dog.
It sounds great, though. Seriously.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Well, unconventional avenues are what we all come to expect in the theater. I have this section of the show. We usually talk about what we're doing in the future. But I have to ask Margery, there's just one thing. First of all, I should preface this by saying I don't think you ever did Broadway, but I think you've worked at every other prestigious theater in North America, including the Stratford Festival, where I heard that you took a tap dancing class with Christopher Plummer.
So, you know, that was a dream come true working up there. It's Stratford. You can't go wrong there. And, you know, everything is in rep. So you're working on so many different shows with these incredible actors. And, but the story I always tell about that place is it was such a learning experience at any age, because it has a very different mindset that, you know, you have these Brian Bedford and Maggie Smith and Christopher Plummer and all these wonderful, brilliant actors working there. And let me tell you, they go partying and drink in the pub, those British actors, till 4 a.m. But the mindset is that you always continue learning. And and that's kept with me. You know, how can you go wrong with that? It's so Stratford offers a lot of classwork. They'll offer folio class. They'll offer Alexander classes, and again, like anything to tap class to, you know, like I said, folio, and everybody is expected to go. Everybody in the ensemble. So I always tell the story. I've taken tap class with Christopher Plummer, and you know, we'll do Alexander class with Brian Bedford, and there's no hierarchy. It's considered that you just are. It's a constant learning process. So it's beautiful.
That would be something that any actor should want to do. And this is a reminder. The reason I brought that up is, you know, to those young actors who are still thinking about their career and what it may bring, you never know where you're going. And of course, we love to work on Broadway, but Broadway is not the be all and the end all. And you have many ways of making great theater and many places to make magic. I certainly felt like we did that at Island City Stage last year. It was when we did Star Maker, and we did that together at the Iverton Playhouse.
We did.
And Margery, that's just another example. You can be a working actor with a patchwork quilt, and that is the gift. You know, we all envy people who can be in long-running shows, and you feel like you have you know, a sense of permanence. Well, nothing is ever permanent. Every show closes, and I've made decisions sometimes where I've left productions to do something new, and you always wonder, are you doing the right thing? You know, do I leave the producers so I can do a regional theater production? But there's no wrong decisions, and you always keep growing. And look what it's done for you.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. And you know, no matter where you are, what country you're in, we all wanted to be artists. You know, that's why we do it. We love the storytelling, and we want to touch people and be moved by them as well. It's, you know, it sounds cliche, but live theater, there is nothing like it. And it's that immediate, it's a call and response. You were talking about, will we go on? And I've been asked that in a couple of interviews. What do you think about the future? It's timeless. This whole art form, this started with, you know, Theater of Dionysus. It was call and response. We need that audience. We need the person giving something and taking something. So that's inherent. We're hardwired for it as human beings. It will continue. And in regard to where you are, it doesn't matter, especially as you start getting a little older. It's just about the work. You want to do work you care about. You just want to work and be passionate about it. So whether it's a large venue or a tiny venue, it doesn't matter as long as it's something you care about.
Mhm.
Then you're successful. Then you're an actor, and that's what we want it to be.
So you say you've been doing a lot of Zoom readings.
Yeah.
Are these things that are plans for the future, or?
Yeah. So I did one. I was slated to do a new work by Michael McKeever, who is a playwright. He's down here, but he's did Daniel's Husband off Broadway, and he does
that originated at Island City
Island
Stage.
City Stage. So there you go. Right? They do. Yeah, and they did another one. Help me, Marty. That was Michael's. With that, Michael would play the role in, and I think
Mr. Parker.
Yes. Oh, David, you should take a look at that one. That'd be a great role for you as well. But yeah, so he wrote this piece called "The People Downstairs" about the Anne Frank house that centers on the people that hid them, Meep, and and their story and their struggle of having to what they went through to keep them hidden. And it was slated for January. It was the world premiere, and obviously that's pushed back. It's going to be the theater, Palm Beach Drama Works says that's going to be the first thing they open with when they open. But we did a Zoom reading of his. He workshopped it in its latest reincarnation, and it was nice because it was on Zoom, like so many of us are doing. But the director really used a lot of sound cues and could bring it to life that way. So it was elevated a little bit that way. So it was a great experience. Yeah.
Well, we're learning the technology here, and this is going to be where auditions are in the future. And I certainly don't feel as if I've been 1,000 miles away from you guys doing this. Maybe it's because we don't even sit next to each other in restaurants when we're in the same city anymore. But it does. This is a way of bringing us into the community, and you all have done a wonderful thing today by being part of this, because I want to thank everybody who watches the show every week and who comes on as guests, because we all feel just a little bit better about what's going on right now when we're connected. And
Sure.
It really has. So, Brian, you're working on this Winn-Dixie show now, or?
Yeah, I've been with Winn-Dixie for about 10 years now, and we're just waiting for life to begin. Another Aarons and Flaherty. But we did, with the Zoom readings, we're all doing, record your part and make a video, and we're going to edit it together. We put a viral video out, I think in April, of our closing song, it's called "What I Got," and it's about how we're all learning to be grateful for the things that we have, as opposed to thinking about what we don't have anymore, which is timeless and perfect for this moment. So yeah, a lot of Zoom readings, a lot of workshops, I'm doing a lot of master classes and monologue scene study workshops with young artists. Just anything I can do. I'm teaching online art classes for my friends' kids in Japan and Florida and California. I meet with them all the time, and we draw Elsa or Mickey Mouse or Halloween kitties, just to stay connected and stay creative. Anything we can do to stay creative these days.
And the dogs get you full time now, huh?
And they're never going back to Oz. They're done. They're done.
The dogs are, I was just saying, the dogs are the only ones who love this pandemic. They're like, this is
right, because
great.
everybody's home. Nobody's leaving. Yeah. And suddenly you have a hammock in the backyard. Yes, please. Nigel's like asleep in the hammock all the time. Yeah.
Our cat has never had so much company.
Right. Yeah.
And I did along those lines. I did a Zoom masterclass with the students from the University of Michigan on. Last month.
Great!
It was astounding, because there was so much talent there, and I know that they feel a little lost right now. So we have an opportunity to give back, and we also can share our survival stories, which gives people, we've been through a lot, even with 9/11 and the AIDS epidemic, and that's not over. And so the people who are our ancestors went through something similar to this 100 years ago, and we're still here. So we will be here. I'm very fortunate that I actually have some equity work coming up. It's going to be like this, but I'm doing a 3-week contract with Theatre Emery of a Lorraine Hansberry play called Les Blancs.
Wonderful.
Which has been revised in the UK. They did a rather well-received production a couple of years ago, and I think this is based on this revised script. So it's going to be exciting. I've never acted a full production of a play in my dining room before, but we'll see what happens. It's only 3 weeks, and it means that I will have to go on hiatus from this program, but I will gladly do it and gladly come back with a whole new group of panelists when we come back. And Marty, you've already told us a little bit what's going on at Island City Stage coming up, but what are the other shows that you're planning on doing?
We're doing after Dixie's Happy Hour. Next show is going to be the Holiday Spectacular, Island City Stage Holiday Spectacular. We'll have a lot of South Florida artists that'll be joining us for that. That'll be video only because it's a musical, and it's going to be a whole lot of solos and then some duets. That we're going to be filming it and preparing it, and we're going to do it kind of like a 1960s holiday special. And so we're excited about that. Next thing's going to be a show called Compensation, which is a new play. Centers around a girl who is asked to be a surrogate for a gay couple, and all of the challenges around that. It's going to be a great show. We're excited about that. Then the Niceties.
Good show.
Finally, the last show is going to be. We've had this on the schedule forever. Bright Colors and Bold Patterns will be the final show of the season. So we're just gearing up to get ready to go, and I'm sitting here watching my emails coming in and people purchasing some tickets, so that always makes me happy.
Great.
Well,
great.
I hope this little forum today spreads the word about the wonderful work you do at Island City Stage. I had never heard of the theater before that, and I'm ashamed that I had never heard of it, because that's the thing, is we in the New York community, that's what I was trying to point out when I was talking about all your wonderful work, Margery, is that you were a New York expat wondering, is there life outside of New York? And there certainly is, and it is different. I know that when I work away from New York, the local actors have a whole different experience, but and there's the yin and yang to that. There's more of us per square inch here in New York, more competition, more.
But the quality of life, I would think, outside of New York is totally
pretty
different.
Great living in Florida. You get to live, I mean, in paradise. The weather's. I'm looking out my window right now. It's bright, sunny with the palm trees flowing. So
that doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Well, the two places I stayed in last year when I was working with Island City Stage were beautiful. I had a swimming pool out my front door, and but those of us that are kind of New York lifers, that's it too. I love visiting other places, but I can't imagine living anywhere else.
And David, you need to speak about how New York is still going strong. You hear conflicting things about people emptying it out, and I've heard from so many friends that's not true. There's still
and I think what's going to be is that we're going to see a different kind of renaissance out of this. We're going to see. Because we'll be so starved for the art and the restaurants and everything else, that people will come in to enjoy that. But we'll find less congestion in the city. Maybe the rent will go down a little bit, certain things. Maybe people will be commuting a little bit more and not spending so much time, emitting greenhouse gases into our air and all of those things.
Yeah, less fake Elmos in Times Square and more content, more art. Yeah.
No, we're doing very well here, and I'm very proud of the way our city has. Look at how we were hit by this virus when it first started, and I don't want to take anything for granted, but because of what our government and what our citizens did to do the right thing, we certainly changed where we are now. I mean, we hope we continue, obviously, but it's a lesson to everybody that if you do the right things, we can whip this thing. And
wear your mask.
Well, we'll be back on stage.
We'll be back.
Look what my friend Jerry McIntyre did with a production
up at Berkshire's.
And it just shows, and they embraced what is going on in the world right now as part of the production, which is what we were talking about before, about the right play at the right time for the right audience. And so we'll all keep that in mind as we go forward.
As we stumble along.
As we stumble along.
How many more musical theater quotes and cliches can we do?
That's next week. The whole panel is just musical theater quotes.
Well, it might be, which brings me to I should tell you who we have next week on the panel. We have 3 director, writer, producers. They all know each other. I'm sure I won't get a word in edgewise. They're all talented directors that I've worked with as an actor. We have DJ Salisbury, Jamie Rocco, and Jonathan Cerullo all on next week. And that will actually be my last show before we take a 3-week hiatus. So we're going out with a bang, as it were. But you guys have been a gift to our audience and to me. It's so wonderful to see your faces. And Margery, I can't believe it. How many years has it been? Well, but you have that portrait in the attic that keeps.
Thank you. But it is so good to see your face. It really is. That we want to focus on the positives, and that's one. It's bringing us all together, even in this medium, to see faces we haven't seen for a while, and we're all reconnecting.
Well,
and that's
I
beautiful.
hope that we'll all be back in the room where it happens.
Absolutely. There you go.
Very soon with all of you. Wouldn't it be wonderful to do something together, all of us?
Yes, let's do it.
Here we are.
And on our way out, we have our playoff music. We picked something from a show that Brian's done many times. A little theme music from Annie, which when we were just recording it, not to call in the schmaltz police, but we all got a little lump on our throat when we heard Tomorrow. And 7 months ago we would have said, "Oh, that's corny. Why would you play that as your play?"
It's our new anthem.
Yeah,
it has to be. It has to be.
And The Impossible Dream, and
That's why they're.
But it's not so impossible looking at your faces right now. I thank you so much, and be well. Be on stage again very soon. I love you all.
Love you too. Thank you for having us.
Yes. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.